So today we're going to be talking about some top tips about getting you saved up to buy a home. Welcome to another episode of I Must Ask You a Question. And today I brought my good friend Kristi Denham with the Jow Dennis Group Investment Services. How are you doing today, Kristi?
I am excellent, and I am so honored to be on this podcast with you, Matt. Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad you were able to get on it, and I really wanted you on here because you have a passion to help clients and help others with their financial situation, whatever it is. When we first met, we met at some local chamber here in Wiley
Mhm.
events and whatnot, and it really goes by with what your motto is. You invest in others before they invest with you.
You
And
bet.
when we had questions about setting up certain things for our retirement and financial wise, you always just poured into us, and that's how I knew it was a great fit, and how
Thank
I knew
you.
you made a good choice of going with you. So I was really excited that you were able to join me today and just share that wealth of knowledge of yours with others, and really talking about something that you're passionate about, and budgeting and getting people better positioned financially,
Mhm.
and for this to help them save up to buy a home. So let's kind of just dig deep in it.
Sure.
I know one of the top, what is like your top tip? We'll kind of go over maybe 5 or 6 of them, but what's maybe your top tip of where somebody should start if they are even thinking about buying a home?
Gosh, they just need to know their financial picture more than anything. They need
Okay.
to know where their numbers are at, what they want to work on, goals, all of those pieces. And I mean, not to add stress onto it, but it is hard. I mean, as you know, working with your clients, where they should move, what kind of house should they get? Should they get a turnkey house, or do they get a fixer upper? Like, what do we shop by school district? Do we shop by commute to work? Like, that's a lot of components there. But before open up that can of worms, it has to be a top priority because there's a lot that goes into preparing for that
Like
house.
figuring out your financial numbers, what is that kind of detail? Does it come in, with what's coming in, what's coming out? How can somebody really dive deep into finding out what their financial numbers look like?
Sure. There's a number of different exercises you can do, but probably the biggest one would be just hop online and see what direct deposit comes in, and just take tally, look a month, couple months back, just so you can get like a trend of what you are making on average. And then they need to see what goes out. Like, and a lot of times you don't really have to tally the numbers. You can just look at it and go, wow, I really like Whataburger. Or what do I buy on Amazon? I'm spending so much money on Amazon. What am I buying from these people? Or you can also see, wow, we just don't eat at home. Or it'll be an eye opener, but probably you got to see what goes out. Like, okay, what do I pay for my utilities? What am I used to? You also need to know what your debts are. Sometimes it's scary for folks to really do come to Jesus on what do I owe and what do I have in savings. But if you're already there and you're like, Kristi, I already got that down. You need to see what room you have in the budget for a home, because likely you're going to upgrade, right? You get most of your people upgraded, especially on a first house, of course.
Yeah.
Square footage, so your utilities are going to be higher. You may have HOA fees. You may have some other expenditures that you just didn't anticipate by being a homeowner. And unfortunately, you and I know as both being homeowners, a lot of times they're not the fun projects. It's more like we just had Liberty Air and Heat come out because our condensation drain was clogged and the backup drain was being used. And we're thinking, oh, great, here's one that we'll put money into to make sure it operates. So a bigger issue doesn't come up. But still, it's like we don't get to see the pretty coming out of it. It's not like paint or doing something to improve like the kitchen or the bathroom. So,
Yeah. All
but
right.
really, it's like, how much do I have in the savings account? Also, you got to look at your investment accounts. We here see some folks that they like to set up their retirement accounts and then set it and forget it, which is an
Mm.
honor that they've trusted us to manage the portfolio. But sometimes they're difficult to reach because they don't want to be reached by us because they're trying to keep that out of mind so they're not tempted to get into the honeypot,
Yeah.
And traditionally, there are a lot of penalties around that. Right now, with us going through COVID-19, there's been some great kind of leeway this year. So clients can pull money out of their retirement accounts minus the 10% penalty.
Mm.
But another thing is if you pull out of your IRA account, you can pull money up to $10,000 out for a down payment on a home if it's your first home. So that's kind of something neat there.
Awesome. So first tip, figure out your numbers.
Yes.
Have that come to Jesus with yourself, with your partner, with your spouse, and really dive deep into what's coming in, what's coming out. So what do you think would be the number two? What's a number two tip that you could share with people?
I mean, it's always recommended that you run your credit report once a year. A lot of times companies will do it for free. It won't hurt your score to run it once a year to figure out, does all this look right? I personally had an issue, probably about 10 years ago on my credit report. And it was because I had moved away and I thought I had dropped off the cable box and all the rented gear and they checked it in. Well, the person didn't like completely close out my account
Oh,
or
wow.
didn't reconcile it properly. So I ended up seeing this on my credit score and I hadn't been contacted by collections. I thought that was so weird. And I ended up having to settle up with like $200, which I didn't have proof that I had turned it in because I barely got it in before they closed. And I wanted to leave like that day, move out. But man, that could hurt you quite a few points. But knowing
it is. I recently was talking to somebody who does like credit solutions or credit repair, and I may have them on an episode soon and dive deep into credit. But they talk about what you just said. You should run your credit report to do like a credit. What's the word? Like a credit audit on yourself.
Yes.
And verify the things that are on your report are true or not, and then determine what you have to do in order to better position yourself. So I mean, I totally agree with what you said. Basically auditing your credit report and making sure that there wasn't anything on there that you didn't know of or you forgot about or something.
Sure. And if you did see something on there, usually there's contact information. You can go ahead and call and say, hey, look, here's my story, or here's some proof that this didn't happen. I mean, you can fight for yourself, and that'll really help your score quite a bit. Or if it's down and you're like, oh, I don't like this score, and you know that you have work to do. And typically that work is two things: is paying down debt, right? And getting timely on your payments, being more organized, which is so crazy how organization saves you money. Just being organized and knowing like your numbers, that is just crazy how that saves quite a bit. But really and also if you don't have a great credit score and you're like, gosh, I really want to buy a house in the next 6 months. I got a promotion at my job. My income's gone up. But that score, geez, and I'm doing all I can. It's just going to take way too much time for what I want to. I want to take advantage of these great mortgage rates now.
Oh, man,
you should be prepared to bring a lot more cash to the table.
Yeah.
So that would help buy down your position as far as getting into the home. And I mean, you see it a lot too with multiple offers and how does the seller choose,
Yeah, So number 3, let's talk about calibrating your budget. For
Uh,
me, everybody's scared of that word budget, budget. I'm not
no,
one to budget. My wife keeps me on track with our budget. Uh,
yeah.
and so I never used to budget in the past, but she's got me on the right path to making sure. So what does calibrating your budget mean?
It's really like if it's really important to you to buy this home and you're like, gosh, that's all I could think of. I'm looking on Zillow all the time. I'm just drooling at all these houses are for sale in my neighborhood and I just can't get this off my mind. Well, start figuring out where you can cut back because moving is going to be it's just expensive experience altogether. Cutting back is not necessarily giving up things. It could be doing things on your own. So for example, I thought like our garage door was super squeaky, the one that goes up and down. I thought, oh man, we're gonna have to have a service tech come out, and then I got it quoted like $100 for just a maintenance deal. And my husband went out there. He's like, no. He went down and sprayed it with some WD-40, and it's rock star. So
Yeah.
I thought one thing, and I presented it to him, and that's nice too. And you always want to have accountability person if you don't have a spouse. You run it by them. You're like, hey, I'm thinking about this. And as y'all could guess from my personality, my husband really balances me out, but I also give him a lot of options. And he's like, I think these two would be the best for us. And then he helps me sort out the logic and prioritize or bring to light different opportunities. Like, oh, did you think about this? But it could also be like anything from like, I love frugality hacks. If you're taking your clothes to be dry cleaned, if you just air dry those puppies and then iron them yourself, you will save bucks.
No,
I mean, I know.
we're gonna stop this right now because my wife's gonna be watching it and she's gonna say, "See, you better listen to Kristi because I've said the same." She said
Okay,
the
so
same
on the
thing.
ladies' side, okay,
I need to iron
so
my clothes and
another way for us gals that like to get our hair done, a frugal approach to that is, well, sometimes when you do it yourself, it ends up costing you a lot more money to fix it. So an easy way to go about that is don't go with the highlights, just go with the straight color or the touch up because the highlights are an added expense. And maybe you let yourself do that a couple times a year. But that would save you tremendous dollars on just your personal care side. There's all kinds of great ways to just save, but not have it impact things that you really enjoy.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people can really get out of it. Back to like what we talked about in the first, like the number one was about knowing your financial numbers. When you said printing off your bank statements and kind of just seeing what's coming in and coming out,
Mhm.
a lot of that can be when you're calibrating your budget is, do you really need Netflix and Disney Plus and Hulu and
Yes.
Amazon Prime Video and all these other videos? And it's like, it adds up to being the same as cable, so it's taking
Yes.
those few things that you forgot, or maybe you've been paying for a gym membership for a whole year and you've only been 10 times and you're like, oh, I'm going to go one day. No, you're probably not. So maybe you should just cut that back
Yeah.
and wait until you buy the house, then go sign up again,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, make
So,
some rules for yourself. That's huge.
yeah.
Some of the rules for my folks that love to, they're natural spenders. I'm a natural spender, but I try to make rules for myself. Like if I put something online, if I'm shopping online and I put it in the cart, I have to like sleep on it before I buy it. Like I got to think about it. And some folks that shop a lot online, make it one day a week that you're like, okay, Wednesdays are my days that I actually check out from the cart. And I have to wait all week for that one day. So that kind of helps you really think about it. Plus, I love that, again, back to Amazon. I like that you can make it your favorites. So when friends or families like, what do I get you for Mother's Day or birthday? Well, you could always, get a gift card and that person can buy stuff off of their wish list.
Yeah.
They've been wanting for a while. So that gives them permission to buy those things. But I mean, calibrating your budget doesn't have to be ugly. It could be shopping your electrical brokerage company for the best electric rates. It could be like we talked about the cable trim back. Oh, Hulu doesn't really have my shows I like anymore. I cut that one. Or I think we watched everything there is on Disney Plus. We'll just leave that alone for a few months. Yeah. I mean, it could be a lot of things that you want to hold off on. Or, oh, during COVID and I was home, I watched all of the shows I wanted to watch on Netflix, and the new seasons are not yet. So I'm going to cancel Netflix for a while. And it's just strategic, you know.
Yeah, you
it up
having
for
a plan.
Yeah. And you can also I could go on and on for this one.
So let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about having like you mentioned to me in the past about having a debt payoff plan. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay, so that's when you look at the beast and you say, how are we going to tackle you? You figure out how much you owe, and but then you also want to look in the savings account and think, gosh, I want to have a good chunk to put down on this house. Plus, I don't think my friends are going to help me move anymore. I kind of abused that one in my 20s. I can't bring them off with beer and pizza anymore.
Especially if you're still on a third floor apartment, they're not coming to help you move.
You know, I was one of those third floor.
We were too. When we first bought our house, we moved from a 3-floor apartment, and it was ugly.
Yes. Yeah, I moved in July. Oh my gosh. Yeah, crazy. But yeah, we're past that phase in life, right? So you want to save up for a moving company. And we used a moving company when we moved back in 2017. And even then, we were like, we should have got a bigger truck and more guys. That's what we should have done. You always want to go bigger. Worst case, you got the huge truck, extra space, the guys, and they finish up the job way faster. Because those guys, depending on the company you use, they really work hard during the time to be done fast.
Gotcha.
But automating your savings, because you want to divide and conquer. All banks have it set up where you can have money set aside into either a savings account within the same bank, or one of my favorites, especially when you're going to have quite a bit of time. Yeah, and even if you need to have an emergency account anyhow, especially even more so when you own a home, because things go out like surprise, air conditioning, and it is September. That happened to me. Yeah. The day after we got back from vacation.
Oh man.
Ouch. Yes.
So what is debt snowball and debt avalanche? What is the difference between those two?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So debt snowball is if y'all know some of your other financial gurus out there, they're fairly well known. Dave Ramsey's real big on the debt snowball. And that's when you list your debts from largest to smallest. And you tackle the small one first and pay it down as much as you can. You make minimum payments on all the other debts, and you work your way through the snowball. So let's say you owe $200 and then $800. Well, you only had maybe $100 to chip away at this. So 2 months, you knock out that $200 debt. Well, then you take your minimum payment or that $100, and then you add it on to the minimum payment of the $800 one. So you just keep the ball rolling. The other approach, which is more of there's pros to both. You're paying off debt, right? The debt snowball one is more of a mental game, and it keeps you winning, and you feel like you're making momentum. Where the debt avalanche, that's a Susie Orman approach. She preaches that one. She's like financial guru lady back in the 90s, in the 80s, early 2000s ish. She really preached the avalanche because that's based on rate. So you look at your highest interest rates, which are typically a credit card that's like 26%. And then you'll have like maybe a car loan that's maybe 5%. And then maybe a student loan that could be like 3.75. Well, you would do the credit card, the car, the student loan. So that would be the approach to paying that stuff off. But And then there's always the card components, like Nebraska Furniture Mart is notorious for rolling out cards with zero interest for so many years. And then you look up and you're like, it's almost 2 years. We got to hurry up and pay this off, So that's where the wrench comes into that one. So I do like, I did the snowball, did that snowball myself, my husband and I, and that worked really well for us. But yeah.
Cool. So number 4, can you make money? Talk to us about some
I
future
know.
of
Can you
that.
make more money if you need to? And you're like, I don't know about that. Well, you actually, you're like, I am busting it every day. Come on, Kristi. But you know what? You don't, it comes in different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean, well, it could mean asking for a raise,
Mm,
or it could mean saying, hey, can I do more work? I would like to I'm trying to buy a house here, y'all. I really have this great goal. Do you think you can help me with that by offering some other things I can do to make a little bit more? Or can you critique? I know we don't do employee reviews for until June or end of June or July. But do you think you could give me a little feedback, because I'm really trying to make more to buy my dream house? What can I do? I mean, hey, whether you say no, that's, you have to
you
ask.
can ask. Yeah, you
I
gotta
think
ask.
putting it out there says a lot about your character, and they will truly admire you and like you even more as a
Yeah.
person, because you're a goal setter, you're working hard, you are focused, and they would love to be a part of that. But if that's not really in the cards, just because of corporate structure, things like that, and they're like, well, this is just we have budgeted for you for this year. They got budgets too, right?
Yeah.
You can think about, look around your house, sell stuff. I know it's really hard right now with COVID going on to try and do the whole Facebook marketplace meetup thing, but people are still shopping. And that may be their avenue where they want to buy more stuff because they're home, and maybe they're bored, or they're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so they're loosening up their purse strings, or they're like, oh, we're going to kind of get through this. They're starting to open stuff up. I'm ready to spend some money I've been sitting on.
Yeah, and you definitely want to do that part of it. Like if you're going to be selling stuff, you want to do that months before you buy a home, because from
Yeah.
a real estate standpoint, lenders have to source where the money came from. So you don't go thinking I'm going to go buy a home and get into contract, then I'm going to sell a bunch of stuff and now I have cash, because that's not just going to work. That money has to be seasoned in the bank for a few months, maybe a
Mhm.
couple, depending on things. So definitely we gotta, if you're gonna sell stuff, to start saving up, yes, you sell it months in advance, so that way when you are ready to start that home buying experience with us, that money's already been seasoned in your bank account, and the mortgage lender's not going to ask anything where it came from, because it's already been there for quite some time. So
There you go. Plus,
yeah.
Matt, you probably, most of your clients, when you first meet with them, don't you ask them, okay, guys, we're going to have to declutter the house a little bit. We're going to have to pack some stuff
Yep,
up.
when they're
We're going to
selling,
make
especially
this
when they're
house
selling,
look like
yeah.
nobody lives here. It is a show house.
Yeah,
You
and
do
then
not live
what's crazy, my clients don't listen to me. They declutter,
there.
but they just throw it in the garage so we can take pictures. And then when
Mhm.
they're moving to their new house, they're like, "Oh my God, we have so much crap, so much stuff we don't
Yeah, why
need,
didn't we
and we're
move
throwing
it?
it away here." And it's like, I told you
Mhm.
that 30 days ago.
Yeah, or they realize, okay, those boxes sat in the garage for 3 months and I forgot what was in it.
Oh yeah,
We don't
That-
need that
hey, I'm
stuff.
a victim. I'm a
Why make
victim of
it
that
work?
as well. I
Yeah.
am. I Awesome. So, and you mentioned before in the past also starting a side hustle. Maybe you have that
Yeah.
entrepreneurial mind where you want to start a new business as well. Like I
Mhm.
said, start it months in advance. You won't be able to use that income
Mhm.
because it is a side hustle. But if you have that cash in the bank and it's been sitting there for months, a lot of people aren't going to question where it came from, because it's already been there, from what they need to per the guidelines and stuff. So definitely talk with the mortgage professional more about that stuff.
Mhm.
So that way, it doesn't put you in a bind when you're home shopping. Uh,
Mhm.
so let's talk. Know realistically, how much you're comfortable paying each month for a mortgage payment. what are some different things, accounting for, certain things like childcare expenses, home repairs, medical expenses? How does one kind of put that all in the mix to really determine, okay, well, I don't want to change my lifestyle. We have these bills. I mean, or is it a way for them to prioritize, I guess, more to get that payment of what they're, comfortable with or whatnot?
Mhm. Well, I mean, it's even though they'll get approved for likely a lot more than what they're truly comfortable with, they have to think about it in dollars each month. If they're buying the first house and they would like to start their family and have a baby, there's so much expense. I mean, we each have two. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so much expense, especially for that first child that goes into it. And also, you got to think too about the houses. I remember when we had our oldest, we thought, God, they have so much stuff. I need like a bigger house, and all I've had is one kid, you know? And, but really thinking, okay, what is ahead? Because you just don't want to put yourself in a pinch where you can't do anything. You can't live the life you want to live because you have that mortgage payment. It's
Yeah.
really holding you up. And really, you want to give yourself plenty of slack for those new bills that are going to be higher. And also, like, if you think, gosh, I could afford to get into this home, but things would be tight, and oh, sure, I'll make more money. You're almost better off still buying on the lower side because you can make that house yours. There's not going to be a house out there that's 100% exactly what you want. You may say, I love this house, but gosh, it'd be really cool if I had, how those closets, the custom closets, I really want one of those.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and from a retirement standpoint, a
oh,
lot of what our clients do is they buy that, lower house to where they're comfortable now, even though they want the bigger home, and they can probably push ends meet and afford it. But then they're like, you know what? Let me just buy this more less expensive home, and then
mhm.
in a few years, I'll turn that into a investment property, into a rental property,
There you
and
go.
then go buy the bigger, more home that they are wanting. So
Mhm.
they can always do that and flip it to start building out certain aspects of their investment portfolio. They can see you on the stocks and the bonds and the IRAs and the 401ks and everything, and then that first home you flip it into a investment property, and now you have a rental that's paying you monthly,
Mhm.
and that will all help you as well set you up for that home that you really want, and you can probably use some of that income if you're cash flowing anything from that.
Yeah, you bet. That's a great play.
Yeah, awesome. Kristi, I don't want to take up too much more time. Do you have any more tips or any advice for people before we wrap things up that you can just share? Maybe some things that they can listen to or reach out to you about, things like that.
Oh, sure. If you want some help on budgeting or you're just, Matt, I've told you about this before. Sometimes couples can't quite agree.
Ah,
So we are happy. I am so happy to be the middleman, or you could present the situation to me, and I mean, and I could help be the monkey in the middle as far as the voice of reason. Like,
yeah,
okay, see where you like this and like this. Here's how we're going to blend that. Or this is actually the better direction to go. We help a lot of couples out with that piece. But anything as far as just ramping up or needing some motivation, or I don't know where to start, or any of those pieces, it's overwhelming. And fortunately, there's a lot of information out there, and tons of books out there. I mentioned the two financial folks, Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey. Those are two financial voices out there. There's many others. If you just type in personal finance in iTunes for the podcasts, there's a ton and same thing with Android. There's tons and tons of free podcasts out there. You just download a few, figure out who you like best, and on your commute into work and home, you can listen to that. There's tons of financial books out there to read. Gosh, there's tons of books out there to read. But if you really just want a one-to-one, some ideas for your personal situation, I would just love to get to, as we say, invest in you before you invest with us.
Yeah, and she really does mean that. And everybody, it doesn't matter where you're at. I mean, she can jump on a Zoom call with you to get you
Absolutely.
started, answer your questions, things like that. So if you do have questions about your financial plans and portfolio and budgeting and all that, I highly recommend reaching out to Kristi. She's very passionate, very knowledgeable, and she can get you on the right track. So, Kristi, how can people reach out to you?
Sure. They can reach out to me via email, and it's Kristi, Kristi, Denham, DEN as in Nancy, HAM as in Mary, at JAL. You see the logo up there, JAL, Dennis, DENNIS.com. Our website's the same, jaldennis.com. Or via phone, the number here is 972 429 0603.
Awesome. Well, guys, I hope you tuned in, watch the replay. Tons of valuable information that Kristi has shared with us. If we can do anything for you, please reach out to us. And Kristi, thank you so much. I'll probably see you later on during the week, but if I don't, I just want to wish you a happy Mother's Day early.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you have an amazing weekend, and thank you for being on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Matt. It's an
Yes,
honor.
thank you. Awesome, everybody. Talk to y'all soon.